But there weren't a whole load of options. There weren't.
No, nobody knows what better is. It's only when you start looking.
Back then, people showed their real self. So it was easy to tell what a girl was back then.
Because look how much people pick up their phones even. Mm-hmm. If you're not even disciplined enough to do that, what makes you think you're going to be able to move along with your life and not let it affect you so much, or let it change or tap into your perception of what is a perfect partner, or any of these ideals that our generation seems to be like listing down? And if you don't meet any of that, well, you're not it. But nobody knows what it is that they're trying to find, that perfect ideal. With
social media as well, just to agree basically with what you're saying, is it's all about...
That's it. Agreeing.
Well, no, it's all about the outside view, what other people think of you, and doesn't leave a lot of time to really concern yourself with what you think of yourself. Yeah. And so back to in terms of like being introspective, and what Ryan was saying is about who you are as a person, and have you had time to look at yourself, or perceiving yourself as this perfect being or finished article, when actually all we're looking for, and I say we loosely, when we use social media, how many people, who liked it, why have they liked it, and how am I appearing to everybody else, rather than how am I appearing to myself. And we all know, when we think about it, is that authenticity that makes you who you are and makes you able to form these true relationships going forward. Whereas if you're constantly focused on what's going on outside of that, how can you possibly be properly happy? And then if you're not properly happy, that does make it kind of more difficult to kind of forge these proper relationships, in my opinion. So focused on what's going on outside of yourself.
It's like a toxic hamster wheel, social media is. It's like it gives everyone this point of view that they haven't even gained through their own knowledge and experience. It's just like men think women want this. So men are like, you know, if I'm not doing certain things, if I'm not earning this kind of money, if I don't dress a certain way, if I'm not 6'4", if I haven't got a six pack, then no woman's going to want me, which is false. Then women on the other side, you know, if I don't have a plastic breast and a plastic bum and I'm not this shape, then no man is going to take me on or whatnot. And it's absolutely false. And it's got us all thinking that we want something that we actually don't want.
Yep. And I think the sad thing with that is there must be some people out there, both men and women, who feel like, you know, they've hit a bit of bad luck with partners, and then they resort to what everyone else is doing. And they don't realize that in that process of moving from being unique and being their own person, that actually made them really attractive and really, do you know what, a one and out type person, right? This is the person I really need to be with. End up transforming into the rest, and then they wonder why it kind of goes a bit wrong. So
on the other end of that spectrum, you get people who are like, I've done it this long and I've been myself for this long, I'm not now gonna, and this is part of it as well, I'm not now gonna settle for some. And I think that's where I would probably put myself. I've you know, I've a great life, like in terms of, you know,
the things that make you happy, essentially. I believe that's what you should be doing. And
you meet somebody on the way who likes to do the things X, Y, and Z. I think it can be very difficult, especially, so bringing it back to what Uncle Rodney was saying earlier on about, you know, the way the world has changed. I'm able to have a great life because women work full-time jobs in the same way that men do now. So I can fund that, and I don't have to worry about, you know, I need to get married or I need to find a partner to enable me to be able to have this thing. I don't need that person. So I think, you know, good or bad, however you see it, I have been reluctant to let go of my lifestyle and what I do to enjoy myself for anything that's sort of less than what I want. And that's not saying that I'm, you know, searching for somebody who's a finished article, perfect. I'm none of those things. But I'm definitely not going to have somebody who's going to treat me badly. I'm definitely not going to have, you know, mediocre or substandard when I know what I'm doing by myself and what I can offer to a union. So I think there's also that side of it, like people who are like, well, actually, I'm not in a position where I need to just take anything or accept any nonsense. And like you said, other people who are so desperate to be in a relationship, and I don't say that negatively, we're all different, that they will succumb to the pressures of what society is kind of pushing on us. I also think that from a woman's perspective, how I often see it is that, I've said this to your wife, Rai, so many times, that he was smart enough at a very young age to be able to see those qualities.
I told you, I went in and I robbed the bank and I got out quickly.
And you know what?
He's ahead of his time, I'm telling you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's something that I've always really kind of, admired really, and it's not something that I've seen a lot of it with my peers and with my friends. People have had partners, girlfriends, whatever, over the years, and then they go, and then, whatever, people live their young life, which isn't bad or good necessarily, but to have that obviously she's one of my closest friends, I think she's amazing, but to have that foresight at such a young age and to think about those qualities, most of my friends, male friends at that time, were thinking about more of the physical things, and actually even the females at that time were not necessarily, some of them were, but it was like...
It wasn't at the extent it was now.
And much more of a superficial kind of thing to what we would be looking at now in a partner. So in terms of being nobody on the market, no, I don't think it's true, but I do think there are some people who have done what you guys have done, and I love the term, robbed the bank and got out.
When I was younger, I didn't think too much into what I was doing. Maybe subconsciously I was taking those actions, but I didn't give it much thought. It was just like, it was a no-brainer to me. Here's a good girl here. She is ticking so many boxes. She's doing completely opposite to what I see all these other girls are doing. So I'm going this way.
Absolutely.
And you know what? At that time, I can't say I use my Uncle Rodney as an example, but as I've got older and things, as you get older, kids get involved and things start to get a bit harder. I've looked at my Uncle Rodney and I've looked at what he's built, and I've said, do you know what? I want that. So when I'm going through certain things and I'm battling with myself and I'm thinking, this relationship shit is hard.
Hard. Doesn't matter what relationship it is
hard. Like, it's a graft. It's a proper graft. And I'm like, what would my Uncle Rodney do? Do I want to get to that position? Do I want to get to his stage? Do I want to look back and say, oh, you know what? I put in a decent amount of work and look what I've got out of it. And I say, yeah, to be honest with you. But I mean, social media does play a part. I looked around, and as I said, I'm not saying I couldn't do better or my missus couldn't do better, but there weren't a whole load of options. There weren't.
No, nobody knows what better is. It's only when you start looking.
Back then, people showed their real self. So it was easy to tell what a girl was back then.
See, the perseverance was different. I think the tolerance... and for sure, and I think we've said it a bit earlier, but what if there was any, superficial tendencies, right? It was at a far lower scale. I think it was women saying, does he drive? That might have been a bit of a boost for a lot of guys to say, there's some guys that had peds, all good. But some guys, for them to go and drive now...
In Kent, that's all they wanted.
I think when you get a car for the first time, you're kind of thinking, you can get about a bit. But again, I think that was more you developed a little bit. It might be something as silly as a car. Okay, I can get around now. So actually, you can work somewhere different. Or actually, do you know what? You can take on the later shift, so you ain't got to get a night shift home. Those type of things. So if there was a superficial thing, it was
very little, minor.
I don't think
the levels have changed.
It was self-development, wasn't it? I mean, me getting a car didn't make me feel like I could get any more girls. It just made me really happy.
Yeah.
Right? It made me really happy.
And then you radiate.
Listen.
What you cooking?